You gotta give the Phoenix Suns some credit. Not a lot of people expected them to be in the playoffs, especially after they let go of KD and Bradley Beal during the offseason. But obviously, with Devin Booker still playing like a star, and with the additions of Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and a couple role players, this year, the team managed to post the 9th best defense in the entire NBA, while also draining the 5th most three-point shots per game in the entire league. They also did those with Green missing 50 games, Brooks missing 26 games, and with Devin Booker missing 18 games himself. But now, with all their 3 best players healthy entering the playoffs, this 8th-seeded team should make their first-round series against the OKC Thunder look a bit competitive, right? Well, that hasn't exactly been the case. Throughout the first 2 games of this series, the Thunder have outscored the Suns by a total of 48 huge points. Most notably, this first couple of games have underscored the inevitability of the Thunder's NBA best defense, which has turned the Phoenix Suns offense that was supposed to be digestible to borderline unwatchable, as OKC has limited Phoenix to just 40.5% shooting from the field, including only 44.9% on 2-point shot attempts. The Suns haven't just been inefficient shooting the ball, but they've also allowed the Thunder to have a plus 18 advantage in terms of fast break points so far in this series. The Phoenix Suns are firsthand experiencing how historically stifling this OKC defense is, leaving opponents with a very small margin for error, and when the Suns make mistakes, those easily serve as fuel for a Thunder offense that can literally put teams double digits behind the scoreboard in a matter of minutes. Well, the Suns try to show some signs of life in Game 2 with some tough shot making down the stretch, but the question is, can they actually come back from this 2-0 deficit against the defending champions? Obviously, the priority for the Thunder in this series was to make life uncomfortable for Devin Booker and Jalen Green. The Thunder saw what Booker can do even against tight coverages, especially after that last second game winner he made against OKC earlier this year. Meanwhile, the Thunder haven't had the chance to face up against Green during the regular season due to injury, and so far in this series, the Thunder haven't taken any chances. When either Booker or Green have the ball, the Thunder pressure them and constantly force them into tough shots, which has resulted into Booker shooting just 48.4% from the field and Green shooting just 35.8% in this series so far. But even before either Booker or Green can take those shots, OKC's defenders try their best to deny those 2 players the ball as much as they can, with the goal of letting Dillon Brooks take control of the Phoenix Suns offense instead. Here, the Suns try to feed Booker on the post in a mismatch against AJ Mitchell. However, the Thunder's zone closes the gap with Chet going for the slight help, leaving Booker with no choice but to give the ball up. Now they swing the ball to Dillon Brooks on the other side, who at this point sees Lu Dort coming at the wing. So instead of making the pass to Green, Brooks is forced to attack Shai on the drive. This drive could have given Brooks either a bucket or a dump-off pass to his big man, but watch the much smaller AJ Mitchell challenge him at the rim. Now Highsmith grabs the offensive board, but immediately Caruso runs towards Booker into the corner, so Highsmith is instead forced to kick the ball out to Gillespie. This time, with Caruso and Booker and Dort on Jalen Green, the Suns again rely on Dillon Brooks to bail them out late in the shot clock. He tries to cook Chet in isolation, but all he can do is launch a tightly contested mid-range shot. This time, the possession starts with Jalen Green, who's guarded by JDub at the wing. He gives the ball up to Booker, who initiates the pick and roll with Iguodaro, and as you can see, this action is guarded really well as Dort and Ihart chooses to blitz the ball. Booker slips the pass to his big, but Chet rotates in the paint while Ihart recovers. Now, the only clean pass Iguodaro can make is to Brooks at the wing, and again, with Dort guarding Booker and with JDub defending Green, Brooks takes matters into his own hands, attacking Ihart on an island, but Ihart doesn't give him any room, which again forces Brooks into a low percentage well-defended mid-range jumper. This time, you can see Caruso applying the pressure on Jalen Green all the way from half-court trying to funnel his attack, while Lu Dort is closely guarding Booker on the corner. This forces Green to reset the offense to Iguodaro, who at this point tries to run a handoff with Booker, but then Dort just won't allow a clean pass. This makes Brooks the last option again, and with the clock about to run out, Brooks has to come out with a shot as he's ultimately forced to launch that tightly contested step-back 3 against AJ Mitchell. So far, the Thunder strategy has worked, as they have been able to force Brooks, the weakest out of the Suns' 3 best shot creators, to bail his team out in possessions when he shouldn't have been the one to. Looking at it so far, Brooks has taken more shot attempts in this series than either Booker or Green. He shot a miserable 27% from the field in Game 1, although he bounced back shooting 52% in Game 2. The problem was he was still a minus 11 in that game. The point is, the Thunder would most definitely choose to live with Dillon Brooks taking tough shots rather than allowing either one of Booker or Green to get hot. But if there was one thing the Suns could theoretically have taken advantage of in this series, it was OKC's three-point defense, which only ranked 25th during the regular season. Meanwhile, Phoenix shot an above-league average 36% from deep for the year, which was a top 12 mark in the entire league. However, with the Thunder pumping up their intensity from the perimeter in the playoffs, the Suns haven't been getting a ton of clean looks from behind the arc, and the Thunder have limited them to just 34.3% shooting from deep in this series. But then again, with the Thunder pressuring more from the perimeter, this should theoretically have opened up some space for Phoenix to attack the rim, but that hasn't happened as well. Whenever the Thunder trapped Suns ball handlers on the perimeter, it looked like it would give Phoenix a 4-on-3 advantage in the paint. But the Thunder scheme continues to be bulletproof, with help defenders quickly making last-minute rotations to protect the rim. And it's not just their bigs, even their guards such as Shai and JDub have been making that effort to deny looks at the basket. As a result, Phoenix has only put up a total of 64 points in the paint in this series, which is 30 fewer than what OKC has been able to put up. Meanwhile, even when the Suns' main shot creators try to execute off-ball screen actions, the Thunder never dial down on the pressure. The ability of OKC's bigs to get into the level of the screen, then into a drop has basically put Suns ball handlers in jail, while Thunder guards and wings always made sure to fight through ball screens to try and make Suns ball handlers commit mistakes. And the numbers reflect the effort of OKC's defense. Phoenix has turned the ball over 41 times in this series, while the Thunder have scored a massive 53 points off those errors. Well, obviously, we often hear about the defensive effort and chaos that guys like Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, or Alex Caruso bring. Meanwhile, Chet Holmgren notably even put up 4 blocks in game number 2. But it's also actually time to recognize lesser-known defenders like AJ Mitchell and Jay Will, who have been able to step up defensively in this series with their effort. In this possession, as Booker attacks Caruso in isolation, watch Jay Will close the gap to provide help in the interior, while you can see Mitchell also nearby actively hovering around, just waiting for Booker to make a mistake before pouncing on the ball to get that steal for the Thunder. Then here, watch how Mitchell and Jay Will guard the Suns' ball screen action. You can see AJ fighting through the screen, actively trying to recover on the ball handler, as him and Jay Will blitz Gillespie on the ball. Now it seems like Gillespie's able to set up Malawach on the roll, but Jay Will immediately recovers on the paint, using those quick hands to get the steal. Again here, you can see the Suns trying to run a ball screen action with Booker, which is immediately blown up. Booker decides to give up the ball to O'Neal, but watch how Mitchell stonewalls him in a closeout, which leads to the steal by Caruso. As has always been the case, the Thunder's defense has just too many layers to it, and it just has no weak links, which has made the Suns look desperate for buckets in the half-court. Well, Phoenix could have generated easy points by forcing turnovers, but the Thunder, just as always, take care of the ball exceptionally well, as they've only committed 18 turnovers so far in this series, which is again 23 less than what Phoenix has had. Well, the Thunder's defense has been one thing, but how Phoenix contained Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the half-court is another. Well, as expected, the Suns are gonna throw multiple defenders on Shai all at once, and to some extent, their efforts have forced Shai to just 5 of 18 shooting from the field in Game 1, and as far as field goals are concerned, that has been Shai's least efficient game since OKC's 2020 series versus Houston in the bubble. Yet, Shai still finished that game with 25 points and is still sat out the entire fourth quarter. Though in game number 2, Shai has been back to his usual efficient self, putting up 37 points on 52% shooting from the field. One thing has remained constant though, and that is the fact that Shai always finds ways to impact the game outside of his scoring, as his averaged 8 assists per game in this entire series. When the Suns doubled him on the wing, Shai effectively found cutting teammates around the basket, setting them up for easy shots. When Shai saw help at the elbows, he made quick passes to teammates who took advantage of the gaps that Shai already created to attack and make a play for themselves on the lane. This Phoenix Suns team has been missing their starting center Mark Williams, and the Thunder have fully capitalized on this, as OKC scored a total of 94 points in the paint in this series, which is again 30 more than what Phoenix has put up. Well, one interesting thing to talk about is that when you dig a little deeper, you'll also uncover an interesting storyline between JDub and the Phoenix Suns, as it was in Phoenix where JDub injured his wrist last season in a meaningless regular season game after the Thunder already clinched the first seed. Fast forward this year, it's also in Phoenix where he sustained his second hamstring injury, which cost him 3 weeks on the sidelines, and again in game number 2, JDub appeared to have hurt his left hamstring, which caused him to leave the game midway in the second half. So basically, pretty bad mojo for JDub against this Suns team, which is funny considering JDub's actually from Arizona. Again, JDub was limited to 33 regular season games this year, where his scoring average dipped to just 17 points per game on just 48, 30, and 84% shooting splits, which made a lot of people think he still might be trying to get up to NBA speed heading into the playoffs. But so far, JDub's been looking every bit of the Thunder's second All-Star. In this series so far, he's put up 20.5 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds per game on efficient 61.5% shooting from the field and 50% shooting from behind the arc. JDub's driven to the basket at the same rate he's always done, he shoots the ball with the same stroke and the same confidence as always displayed in the past, and his defense doesn't look far off from what you'd expect from a player who's been out for the majority of the year. And if JDub stays healthy, this just spells trouble for every potential Thunder playoff opponent this year. Well, at the end of the day, Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and Dillon Brooks all have the ability to make tough shots, but as it appears, that alone won't be enough to beat the Thunder. Playing with a much better tempo in the half-court feels like the easiest answer for Phoenix to even things out. They know that OKC's defenders will always try to help or close the gap on either Devin Booker or Jalen Green when they have the ball, so if anything, maybe they could somehow play off that by making quicker passes to spread the ball out on the perimeter to force the Thunder's defense to scramble more than they've done in this series, and obviously, the Suns have the shooters to make that happen. But the problem is, outside of Booker, Green, and Brooks, no other Suns player other than Royce O'Neal has shot at least 50% from the field in this series. Well, if any, one thing the Suns did particularly well during the regular season was getting extra possessions. They averaged 3.1 more scoring chances per game than opponents, which was the third largest difference in the entire league. But that's something that hasn't been able to save them in this series, as they've allowed OKC to take 16 more field goal attempts than them so far, while also giving the Thunder a +5 advantage in terms of total rebounds. Well, Coach Jordan Ott was right when he talked about how resilient this Suns team is and how they deserve to make the playoffs. Bad news for them is that the overachievement most likely stops here in the first round. The Thunder are currently the healthiest they've been all year, and this Phoenix Suns team just haven't been able to stress them one bit. I don't want to look ahead too much, but the crazy thing is, OKC's possible second round opponents are a Lakers team that they swept by an average of 29.5 points in the regular season, and a Houston Rockets team that's had a ton of issues against this banged up Lakers team this postseason. San Antonio and Denver might be the only teams that can realistically challenge the Thunder, so I think the possibility of OKC not losing until the conference finals is actually very high. Thank you guys if you've actually made it this far into the video, but do you actually believe that the Thunder can make it deep in the postseason even with JDub hurt? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and again, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. Again, this has been Real Balls, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.